right now, Weiner not backing down, all even in lieu of the new sexting scandal and calls from the drop out of the race from editorial pages and from his opponents. He is soldiering on with his wife's blessing. And next, President Obama delivered an economic speech today. The shot in the arm his administration needs or just another yawn session depends on who you ask. Our panel will sound off. And later, Trayvon Martin's dad, he went to Capitol Hill today and he called for renewed focus on the issues that plague black men and black boys. We will have the latest and again reaction from the table. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Thanks so much for joining us this Wednesday evening, July 24th. Let's start tonight with Anthony Weiner's latest scandal. Now, given the news, should Anthony Weiner drop out of the mayoral race? It's a question many are asking here, and we're asking you at home. Your comments scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and if you haven't weighed in, please do so now. Is this scandal certainly one that shouldn't go away? And the question to you is whether or not he should, in fact, throw in the towel after just yet again another revelation here. Okay, so with all that, we get into the unfolding facts of this story. After resigning from Congress in 2011 over lying about tweeting out lewd tests and racy pictures, Anthony Weiner said he was a changed man, reformed. He had gotten therapy here. This was all behind him. Well, wasn't that far behind him, apparently. Details of yet another sexting scandal surfaced on the website, I can't make this stuff up, called The Dirty, earlier this week. And the timing here is critical. At a hastily thrown together press conference yesterday, Weiner admitted to sending sexually explicit messages to a woman as recently as last summer, more than a year after the same kind of behavior killed his whole career in Congress.
I have said that other texts and photos were likely to come out, and today they have.
And in another surprise move here at that same press conference, Weiner's wife, Uma Abedin, former Hillary Clinton aide here, she took to the podium and defended her scandal-ridden husband.
Anthony's made some horrible mistakes, but I do very strongly believe that that is between us and our marriage.
Now, for his part, Anthony says that he's continuing on with his campaign, and without skipping a beat, he participated in a mayoral forum in the very same building where that press conference was held.
You vote for me, I won't stop fighting for you until the last dog dies.
Now, today, he was out defending his decision to stay in instead of drop out of the race.
I have posited this whole campaign on a bet, and that is that at the end of the day, citizens are more interested in the challenge they face in their lives than anything that I have done embarrassing in my past.
But he may say that, but when you look at the dailies today, the calls are growing for him to drop his bid. Several of his opponents as well have said it's time that Anthony throws in the towel here, and so have the editorial pages of even papers like the New York Times, Daily News, Wall Street Journal. The Times writing in part, quote, "The serially evasive Mr. Weiner should take his marital troubles and personal compulsions out of the public's eye, away from the cameras, off the web, and out of the race for mayor of New York City. He suggested that people should have known that his sexting was an unresolved problem well into 2012. That's ridiculous, and it speaks to a familiar but repellent pattern of misleading and evasion. It's up to Mr. Weiner, if he wants to keep running, to count on voters to forgive and forget and hand him the keys to the City Hall. But he has already disqualified himself." Now, one group not calling on Weiner to drop out are the late-night comedians. For him, this is the gift that keeps on giving.
He was sexting women under the name Carlos Danger. See, this is Weiner's way of getting more Latino support.
At the press conference today, Anthony Weiner's wife said she will stand by her husband. Yeah, especially when he goes on the computer.
Yeah, Weiner apologized for this new scandal, I guess, and then he apologized for the next one. And for the one after that.
Now, the most recent poll, and this is key here, this was taken before the press conference yesterday, but it shows Quinn's in the lead, 27% of the Democratic vote. Weiner coming in second with 18. And I should tell you, though, there's other polls that have this thing flip-flopped here. Another recent poll, had the positions reversed, Weiner being in the lead and Quinn second. That, again, was before the revelations of yesterday. And let us bring in our panel on this. O'Brien Murray, Republican strategist. He's going to have a lot of fun with this tonight, I'm sure. Dominic Carter, political journalist and author, and the man who asked the very question about whether there were more of these in Richard Brodsky. And I want to see somehow, some way, if he could somehow defend Weiner out of this whole thing. Former assemblyman from New York, senior fellow Demos professor at NYU.
We have a brown bag for Richard just to hide his likeness.
Why? I mean, he's not his.
He's covering his face up already.
The pot calling the chicken or something or other. Come on. From him, I won't take it. From Weiner, I won't take it either. Just stop. It's
Really?
enough already.
You think this is really about sexting anymore?
Yeah, I do in the end. That's the interesting part. The first time he did it, I think people were willing to forgive him. Unlike Dominic, I said he would do well in the polls. He did.
I said he was a Democratic front runner and could win the mayor's race. Did I not?
We both always do.
Whatever. This raises questions about whether you're taking a risk that you might get a text message from the mayor. That's a different kind of thing.
The text messages aren't the problem. It's the overall chat, the pictures. I mean, you know.
Obviously, someone has a great interest in the details.
For somebody who ran, won, and continued to seek office over, honestly, I was shocked that he wanted to run again when he knew this was out there. Timeout. But every elected office, I don't care if it's dog catcher.
Richard,
wait a second. It requires some level of judgment.
Richard,
he has no judgment and no discretion.
But until the second outburst, you couldn't actually say that with the high pitch that you just gave it.
But let's there was already two outbursts, because originally when he did the texting and claimed he was hacked, then everything else he did, and he lied to his fellow members, which is why the Democrats said, you got to go. Pelosi said, get out of here. The leadership said, get out of here. Right now, he's got no leadership to push him out. The thing that strikes me, though, there was another poll out today, just came out, the Quinnipiac poll. You referred to a couple polls up here. And you were talking about this off air before we came on here. Among women, prior to this survey, but even considering the first scandal, Anthony Weiner beat Quinn among women by 5 points. 5 points. And then here's the other thing, as a pollster and as a politician, look at this stuff. The enthusiasm among Anthony Weiner's points was greater than 10 points compared to his competiters.
That
so the
was
question
prior the second shoe dropped.
No, I'm aware of that.
It's the second shoe that's going to kill him. The first one people are willing to forgive. Weiner is correct in saying they care more about what he's going to do for them than what he's going to do to his wife. That may be wrong, but that's the reality. This one takes it beyond.
If his supporters, of which, don't forget, it's not like 50%, it never was, if his supporters say, hey, wait, if his wife's going to forgive him, and the same old news, they're going to be a lot less likely to take this into account.
What do you
He's
think
going
is
to lose
gonna
some
happen?
of his support.
Are his numbers going to go down?
His numbers will go down, but remember, he's got 45 days, and he has a lot of money in the bank to be able to spend.
Dominic, I think, in a funny way, it's the same kind of thing that people see as relates to like the Alex Rodriguez story with baseball. There becomes, from a media perspective, a fatigue aspect point where people are just tired of hearing for the next week. Because this guy lends himself to the front page of the Post and the news. There are going to be stories. People are going to be digging to find out more women. Now he almost said, come get some. And the media who gave him a pass, like the Times Magazine, love letter they wrote to him a few months ago since he got back in this thing. People are out here because they feel he duped them again. You know that and I know that. The public's going to be tired of hearing his name because they're going to be tired of this story after a while. I don't see any path that this guy is going to be in the top 5, let alone the top 2 or 3, maybe within a month. Do you?